Imagine a world where the sky was never blue. No golden sunsets, no pink dawn, even no fiery orange evenings. Just a bright white sun hanging over a colorless sky. That sounds impossible, right? Because the blue sky is so ordinary that we rarely ask this question: who gave the sky its color? Surely the answer must be the sun. After all, it's the source of all the light reaching the earth. But here's the mystery: the sunlight reaching the earth is not blue, it's completely white. So, if the sun never sends us blue light, then who does? The answer lies in one of the most beautiful tricks nature performs every single moment. For thousands of years, people believed sunlight is simply white light. But appearance can be deceiving. Every ray of sunlight arriving on the earth is secretly carrying an entire rainbow. They are traveling together as one. You just can't see it. Think of it like an orchestra. You can't hear each instrument separately. You hear one beautiful music. In the same way, when these colors travel together, we see them as white light. But how do we know this? It can be proved with a simple experiment. When a beam of sunlight passes through a glass prism, something remarkable happens. The white light spreads apart, revealing every color that had been hiding inside it all along. The prism does not create color. It simply separates the color that were there. Now the question is, if every ray of sunlight contains every color, then why does not sky appear red, orange, violet, green? Why does it most of the time appear blue? To get these answers, watch this video till the end. You know, every ray of sunlight crosses a huge distance through the space before it reaches the earth. After crossing the vast emptiness, it finally reaches the earth. But something unexpected happens the moment it arrives. The moment it arrives, its journey is not over. In fact, the most important part just begins. Before sunlight reaches your eyes, it must pass through something you have never thought about. It's Earth's atmosphere. But in a few moments, you will discover that the Earth's atmosphere changes the color of the entire sky. Every ray of sunlight must travel through this atmosphere before it reaches us. And during this journey, the sunlight begins to change. The sky is not painted by the sun alone. The earth paints it too. But how can something invisible as air change the color of light? That mystery takes us to the next chapter. Now imagine driving through a crowded city. Suddenly, you have to slow down, you have to change your direction. Now your journey is no longer straight. Surprisingly, sunlight experiences something similar. As it enters Earth's atmosphere, its journey is no longer through empty space. Instead, it passes through billion upon billions of tiny air molecules. These molecules are incredibly small, too small for us to see, but they are not invisible to light. As each ray of sunlight travels through the atmosphere, it constantly interacts with the tiny air molecules. These interactions don't stop the sunlight. They simply nudge the tiny amount of it in different direction. Every second this happens billions of times above your head. Scientists call this process relay scattering, and this is the reason sunlight does not travel straight from the sun to your eyes. Instead, it spreads across the entire sky. But not every color gets scattered equally. One color gets scattered far more than others, and that color is the reason our sky appears blue. Remember, every ray of sunlight carries every color of the rainbow. As those colors enter Earth's atmosphere, they all begin the same journey. But they don't all travel in the same way. Some colors continue almost straight ahead. Others are constantly redirected by billions of tiny air molecules. Among them, blue color is scattered far more than the other colors like red or orange. Why? Blue color has one tiny advantage or perhaps one weakness. Blue light travels in shorter and tighter waves. Those shorter waves interact much more with the tiny molecules floating in the atmosphere. Instead of continuing straight from the sun to your eyes, it is scattered across the entire sky. And because that scattered blue light is arriving from every direction, wherever you look, the sky appears blue. But just when it seems we have solved the mystery, another question appears. Blue is not actually scattered the most. There is another color that scatters even more, and that color is violet. At this point, it feels like we have solved the mystery. Blue light gets scattered more than the other color like red, orange. So the sky appears blue. Simple. Except there is another problem. Blue is not actually scattered the most. Violet is. In fact, violet has an even shorter wavelength than blue, which means it interacts with the tiny molecule floating in the air even more than the blue light interacts. Then should not the sky be violet? Actually, our eyes are far more sensitive to blue light than violet. We simply don't detect violet nearly as well. And there is one more reason. Much of the sun's violet light never reaches our eyes in the first place. It's absorbed high in the atmosphere. Although violet is scattered more, our brains receive much more blue light, and together our eyes and our atmosphere create the blue sky we see every day. So, the sky is not painted by the light alone, it's completed by our eyes. Now we understand why the daytime sky looks blue. But the story of sunlight, it's not over yet, because every evening that same sunlight creates a completely different masterpiece. By evening, the painting begins to change. The same blue sky scattered above your head slowly begins to glow. Yellow, orange, deep red. What changed? Did the sun begin to produce different colors? Not at all. The sunlight is exactly the same, but its journey is no longer the same. At midday, sunlight takes a much shorter path through the atmosphere. But as the sun moves closer to the horizon, that journey becomes much longer. More and more of its blue light gets scattered away before it reaches you. A sunset is not the sky changing color, it's sunlight running out of blue. Every evening, the same light creates an entirely different painting, not by creating new colors, but by slowly taking some away. But now another mystery appears. If the atmosphere scatters light so beautifully, why don't the clouds become blue? Look up on a bright summer afternoon. You will see two very different things sharing the same sky, a deep blue background and bright white clouds. If the atmosphere scatters blue light, then why don't the clouds turn blue? The answer lies in what clouds are made of. Clouds are made of billions of tiny water droplets and ice crystals. Compared with the air molecules, these droplets are much larger. Instead of scattering blue light more than the other colors, they scatter almost all colors of sunlight equally. Every color is scattered equally, and when all those colors reach your eyes at the same time, your brain sees them as white. The sky is blue because the tiny air molecules favor scattering blue light. Clouds stay white because tiny water droplets scatter almost every color equally. The same sunlight, a different artist and different painting. But one final mystery still remains. If the Earth's atmosphere can paint the sky blue, why is outer space completely black? Now imagine leaving the Earth behind, higher, higher, until the atmosphere slowly disappears. The sun is still shining. Its light is just as bright as ever. But suddenly the beautiful blue sky is gone. Above you there is only darkness. Not because sun has stopped shining, not because light has disappeared, because there is almost nothing left to scatter that light. Without the Earth's atmosphere, there is no invisible artist, no blue sky, no fiery sunsets, no colorful dawns, just sunlight traveling silently through the emptiness of space. And that's why astronauts see a black sky. So the sky never carried its own color. Light and Earth's atmosphere created them together. Billions of rays of sunlight begin a journey from the sun. Every second, they meet billions of invisible molecules in our atmosphere, and together they create one of the greatest artworks in nature. The next time you look up at the sky, remember, you are not just looking at a color, you are witnessing an invisible conversation between the sunlight and the earth. A masterpiece that has been painted above your head every single day of your life. If this video changed the way you look at the sky, subscribe because there are many more mysteries waiting to be explored. Thank you for watching and I will see you in the next video. Bye.